Chapter 1.4, titled The Mango Tree.
Okay, let's meet our main characters. First up is Aditi. She's a grade 3 student, probably just like a lot of you watching. She lived with her father, who she affectionately called Baba. Now, Baba was a really hard-working farmer, and together, the two of them owned this massive fruit orchard. If you don't know, an orchard is basically a giant, beautiful garden packed with trees that grow sweet, delicious fruits. Just imagine, waking up every single morning completely surrounded by all that fresh air and nature. Pretty great, right?
But well, here's where the problem starts. One day, while they were walking through their lush property, Baba noticed something kind of strange. There was one specific mango tree that was completely barren. That means it wasn't growing any fruit at all. Zero. While all the other trees were just heavy with sweet, juicy mangoes, this one tree was just standing there, totally empty. So Baba looks at it and naturally starts wondering, what on earth should he do with a tree that isn't giving them any food?
But Aditi, she saw things completely differently. She runs right up to the tree, points high up into the branches, and excitedly says, "Baba, look at this tree. There are so many nests where birds are living. It also has a big beehive with many bees." See, she wasn't looking at the missing fruit at all. She was looking at the life. She saw all these little birds chirping in their cozy nests and busy bees buzzing around a massive hive. To Aditi, this wasn't an empty tree. No way. It was a bustling, busy, amazing city for her animal friends.
Her father, though, not quite as thrilled. Baba frowned, crossed his arms, and said in this very stern voice, "This tree is of no use. It does not bear any fruit. We must cut it down." You have to understand, Baba was looking at this strictly like a farmer. To him, if a fruit tree isn't growing fruit, it's just wasting space. He completely missed how important this tree was to all those tiny creatures calling it home. And, well, he had made up his mind.
And true to his word, the very next morning, Baba marches out with his heavy, sharp axe. He walks straight up to that barren mango tree and just starts chopping. Thwack! Thwack! Swinging the axe right into the tough wood of the trunk. Can you even imagine how terrifying that must have sounded to the animals living upstairs? Aditi was standing right there, and she was absolutely devastated. Her heart is racing, but she's just a kid. She feels so small and totally unsure of how to stop him.
Then, suddenly, out of nowhere, this tiny little voice echoes down from the branches. A small bird flutters down, looks right at the giant farmer, and pleads, "Hey, please don't cut this tree. If you do, we'll have nowhere to live." Just picture that for a second. This tiny, brave little bird using every ounce of its courage to beg him to stop. It was absolutely terrified because its home, the place where its babies lived, was literally shaking with every single hit of that axe.
So did Baba listen? Nope. He just stubbornly shakes his head and says, "I'm sorry, but I can't help you. It will be better if you leave this tree." And just like that, he raises his axe and keeps right on cutting. He was so hyper-focused on the lack of fruit that he totally ignored the beautiful living creatures begging for their home. He genuinely thought the birds could just, pack up and easily fly to another tree. No big deal.
Well, Aditi just couldn't watch this happen. She loved nature, she loved these animals, and she'd had enough. She found her courage, marched right up to her father, and in this really soft, earnest voice, she pleaded, "Baba, this tree is a home for many birds, their babies, and the bees. We should not destroy their nests." She was basically pouring her heart out. She desperately wanted him to see that even without mangoes, this tree was offering safety and shelter to so many others.
And then she asks him a question that I actually want to ask all of you right now. Think about this for a second. What would we do if someone broke our house? Really, where would we go? If some giant just suddenly showed up and started smashing down your bedroom walls, you'd be absolutely terrified, right? Aditi hit the nail on the head here. She made her dad put himself in the tiny little shoes of those birds and bees. She made him realize this wasn't just wooden leaves. It was a home.
And she didn't stop there. Aditi threw in some pretty smart science facts, too. She reminded him that trees do way more than just produce fruit. I mean, they give us oxygen. Literally the air we breathe to stay alive. Plus, they provide amazing shade from the blazing sun, which helps humans, animals, and the whole earth stay cool and healthy. Every single living creature needs trees, even the ones that don't happen to give us sweet mangoes.
Hearing his daughter speak with so much bravery and wisdom, Baba finally stopped swinging the axe. He takes a step back, looks way up at the nests, watches the buzzing bees, and then looks down at his really smart grade 3 daughter. And it clicks. He realized just how crucial trees really are. He realized he was totally wrong.
So he changed his mind right then and there, lowered the axe, and completely stopped cutting. Aditi's words had literally saved the day.
Talk about an awesome happy ending, right? Seeing Baba drop that axe, Aditi just beamed with happiness. She was smiling from ear to ear. And hey, she wasn't the only one. Up in the branches, all the birds started chirping joyfully, throwing a little celebration that their home was safe. The bees buzzed happily around their hive. And the best part? From that day on, Baba made a solid promise to Aditi. He swore he would always protect trees and nature, no matter what.
So, what are the big takeaways from our explainer today? What's the real moral of the story? Well, first off, we absolutely must respect and protect nature. It is our job to look out for the environment. Second, every single living being has a right to live. Whether you're a big, strong farmer, a little girl, a tiny bird, or a buzzing bee, everyone deserves a safe home. And finally, trees are essential for life. They give us the oxygen we breathe and the shade we need. Keeping nature safe is, without a doubt, crucial for all of us.
All right, before we wrap up, let's quickly run through our vocabulary chart to make sure we've got all the new words from today's story down. Feel free to read along with me. First up is barren tree, which simply means a tree that has no leaves or fruits. Next is orchard, and that's a large area where fruit trees are grown. Then we have owned, which just means having something that belongs to you, like how Baba owned the orchard. After that is pleaded, which means asking someone for something in a really strong, emotional way, exactly like how the little bird and Aditi pleaded with Baba. And finally, destroy, which means to completely break or ruin something. And obviously, Aditi did not want Baba to destroy those nests.
And that brings us to the end of our story today. But before you go, I want to leave you with one last really important question. Take a look around your own neighborhood, your school, or even your local park. How will you protect the trees and nature around you? I want to challenge every single one of you to be just as brave, just as smart, and just as caring as Aditi. Stand up for the animals, respect our beautiful trees, and be a true guardian of nature. Thanks so much.